Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I am but one of your hosts. And joining me, as always, is our go-to podcast compadre, Mr. Joe Lever. Joe, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing pretty fine on this fine evening. Pretty fine.
Pretty fine. Doesn't sound self-indulgent or anything. It's pretty good. Joe, give us a little tidbit about your life right now, just to start us off, just to warm it up, man. What's on your mind?
A lot of things. Finding a moment to do the podcast in the midst of packing up my life to move into a home.
Gotcha. A group
house. Home. Yeah, the group home. The old folks' home. I'm finally retiring, Jimmy.
Dude, congrats.
Living off my Social Security checks.
That's why the podcast show's doing 7 podcasts a week now.
No, just trying to find a moment or two to take a breath while getting ready to move. And Haley has been working on painting the house a lot. I don't think we haven't left one surface of that house untouched as far as paint goes. And so we've done a lot of work. Still a lot of work ahead of us.
Cool.
But yeah. How about yourself, Jimmy? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I just got back from seeing a film, which we're going to talk about a little bit later here today, and that's kind of one of the main topics for today. But if you join us,
a little picture.
A little what?
You went and saw a picture, huh?
A picture. I did see a picture film. It's weird to call it a picture.
It is.
You know what I mean? When you think of it, it's like a talking picture, or whatever.
Yeah, this is a picture with motion.
Yeah, it's crazy. Saw a lot of trailers today for movies, though, and the person I was with, I was talking to them, and they would kind of lean over, and they're like, "What do you think of that?" And I just was like, "Pass." I saw. If you ever go to play this game with whomever you go to a movie with, try to, like, when you see all the trailers that come before. I went to like AMC, so I got like 20 minutes worth or 30 minutes worth of trailers. Just try to like pick up one that you want to see. Like, that can be hard to do sometimes because you're just like, But yeah, we talk about movies, we talk about pictures here, we talk about games, TV shows, all that stuff. But before we get into it, let's start off with a little bit of news. Now, Joe, I know you're a huge fan of the Skrulls, those shape-shifting aliens from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now apparently they're going to be in like an X-Men movie. Apparently that's one of those races that they both share. The reason I'm bringing up the Skrulls, not because they're just going to potentially be in the new X-Men film, which I honestly don't really care about. I'm sorry, X-Men...
You just made that up. I don't even know what Skrulls are.
Yeah, we talked about this. Remember, they're the green people? There's like super Skrulls and stuff. They could like take on other people's abilities. They're like chameleons. Like, they're green, and they're going to be Captain Marvel. They're going to be the bad guy. The reason I wanted to bring this up, Joe, is because Ben Mendelsohn, one of our favorite actors, you know Danny Rayburn. Everybody knows Danny Rayburn. He's being eyed as the main villain for Captain Marvel. Like a Skrull, potentially. Joe, what do you think about that, man? Mendo.
So did they just pick him out of Bloodline, and they were like, that guy is the most sinister person I've ever seen in my life. He's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was also in Rogue One, too, so I kind of like, you're making the Disney rounds. He's kind of like in Star Wars, and they probably saw him, and they're like, hey, like, you want to maybe be in this thing?
They get a little thing over here.
Yeah.
You wanna join our little thing?
But what do you think about that, man?
Good on him. Plays a good villain. Fitting role.
Yeah, I like him. I was kind of like looking at his face, and I'm thinking like, all you have to do is paint him green. He's got really interesting bone structure, and I think it'll play well. It's kind of like Willem Dafoe when he did Green Goblin. It's like the dude takes the mask off, and he's like equally as scary. That's not a knock against Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's he's a good looking guy, but when he wants to be sinister, he can definitely be a real creep. And like I said, with Ben Mendelsohn being on like in Star Wars Rogue One and in Bloodline, kind of playing that role really, really well. I'm excited. I hope they pick him up because that'd be really cool. I'd like to see stronger villains from Marvel. That's one problem we've kind of had with some of the Marvel films, kind of like as these one-note villains that aren't that cool, but he usually brings a little something extra. There's usually more complexity to his villains as opposed to just being like power hungry, which I guess he kind of was in Rogue One, but he fought for it, and he had other plans. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited about that pick. I think it's a good idea. But would you like to see him be the only one, or would you rather still see like another big name actor be like another villain alongside of him? Do you think he's good enough as the main character, like main bad guy?
Well, hold on. Who's he playing?
Potentially like the leader of the Skrulls. We don't know. It's not going to be confirmed yet. He's just being eyed right now. Variety had said like he's being eyed for villain role in Captain Marvel. So it's just kind of the speculation that he could potentially be that.
Okay. Who would I like to see play alongside him as another villain in the same movie?
If you think that they need one, I mean, he
How
played.
many villains do we need? Yeah.
I don't know if you don't need any more than that. I mean, Darth Vader was, he was alongside him in Star Wars, so that's kind of... I mean, I'm not saying Darth Vader should be in this movie, even though that would really shake things up for Marvel.
This is our galactic, outreaching, multi-dimensional universe, and just don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. I'm also seeing here that so obviously he's in Rogue One, but he's apparently going to be in the upcoming Robin Hood Origins, where he portrays the Sheriff of Nottingham as well, which also perfect casting. Like this guy, I feel like you just put him in kind of these, I don't know if you call him like the biggest big bads, Joe. Like he's usually like a bad guy, but there's usually like human element to him. And I think
he's got to be sinister and weaselly.
Yeah, but he can't be like, he's intimidating, but it's more of a subtlety that's intimidating, I think, about him. It's not like his physical presence, like he kind of walks around like,
it's just a kind of gross and grimy, bad feeling that he leaves you with,
That's true. What do you think of his the way he delivers his lines? I've always thought that was kind of interesting. Like it always kind of catches my attention. Like there's a way in which he does it that kind of really is always, I can't like not listen. Like I'm always like whatever he's talking about, I'm like, like I'm always like really.
I think like the biggest thing is that he's very, what's the word? It's not, like he doesn't care, or it's like a very nonchalant presentation, and it's kind of there's something physical about it too. Like he's kind of got that, he'll kind of look off, and like you can tell he's thinking, then he'll look back. There's action to everything he says. There's certain mannerisms that kind of really top it off. And then he delivers it in kind of a slurry. Well, if I'm looking at Bloodlines anyway, it's kind of like a slurry, kind of just sinister speech.
Yeah.
It really is. It's kind of interesting, but
it's hard not to like him.
Yeah, but there's always that underlying subtlety of, what's the word? I keep using sinister, but it's just sleazy almost, the way.
Sure, yeah. Like he's always a con man, regardless of what he's doing. You're kind of like, I don't know if I should believe you. Like he's always disingenuous or something. Even when he's saying something completely honest, there's a part of you that thinks like, I don't know if I should believe what you're saying right now. So. Yeah, I think if they do choose to go with him and he's interested, I would be really excited because I think he's a really, really good actor. And I like that he's kind of been like climbing the ranks kind of for stardom. And I think he would be a really good choice. And I think he really kind of loves and embraces whatever he's in. He really did embrace that for being Director Krennic. He was kind of really into that role, especially for conventions and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm hoping that they choose him because that would be great and might go... kind of raise the bar for more of the villains, because like I've said before, a lot of the villains we've seen so far from Marvel have been kind of not great. Loki and Ultron for me have been the best, but besides that, they've kind of been pretty lackluster. So I'm hoping for more. If we would have had more Red Skull, but Hugo Weaving, he's just too cool. He's like, I don't want to put on the prosthetics anymore, baby. I'm like, you're killing me. You kill me, Hugo. You go back and do Hobbit, but you won't come back and do this. Sorry, Hugo. I know you're watching. Sorry, buddy. Anyway. Joe, the other, we're talking about Marvel here. While we're talking about Marvel, we got a new Black Panther trailer. Got a new one. Joe, give me your hot take. How do you feel about this trailer now? We did a trailer master about this, which you guys should check out, about the first one, but now we've got a little more insight. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, I don't know that, I mean, what do we always say about, the aesthetic of it? Sexy, right? I mean, the Black Panther, the movements, the style, you can't beat it, right? I kind of feel like, I don't know, this whole Wakanda thing. It's like a little out there. Like they've got flying like ships, almost like alien spacey kind of, but they're on Earth. It's weird.
Yeah, man, vibranium. It's so good. You get flying spacecraft now. You got flying spacecraft.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm sorry to yawn. It's just
He's bored. He's like Black Panther. You and your flying ships, you get out of here. Go Blade Runner 2049.
Lame. I've seen it all before.
Do you like the mixture of like trying to be realistic or like the marketplace kind of like the African vibe with like the future tech? Does that jive well for you?
I find it interesting. I just I don't know. It's tough to grasp. It's like I'm getting the vibe that they are so far advanced from the rest of the world that it's out there, but it's still cool at the same time. The design of it and all that, and like you're talking the marketplace, it's appealing. It is. You're getting the whole African cultural vibe throughout the whole movie. I think they're gonna kind of really show that off, I guess.
Sure. I thought I heard something with your mic, and I was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "You knocking your mic over like I did the other week." Where I was like smacking it, just like I don't want you anymore, Mike. Just kidding, Mike. I love you so much.
I was untangling the old headphone cord here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think they're really showing off the whole African vibe throughout the film, which is fine. It's cool. It's a direction that should be shown more often, maybe. But anywho, I don't know. I just overall I think it's just got an appealing kind of sexy tone to it. Just
sure.
The way they shoot it and they show all like the slow-mo moments.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got some kind of Spider-Man vibes when he's kind of running along the side of a building and kind of jumping onto stuff. I was like, oh, kind of Spidey vibe. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
So how does he just drop out of a ship and he throws those bombs or whatever, but he just drops out of a ship? How does he land?
Okay, so excellent question, Joe. I think the vibranium is an interesting thing because I feel like they let it do whatever it wants to do. So I think he'll just be able to land and it will absorb the energy from his landing. I don't know. He'll probably land on a truck and it'll explode. But he threw out some bombs or whatever, and I was like, he's throwing projectiles. So I have to double check. Hopefully that'll actually be in the movie. But
so is it him himself that has the amazing strength, or is it just the suit?
Excellent question. So, if I remember correctly, in the comics, I think it was like you had to drink something that gave you like the speed and the stamina and the strength and all of that. And it was like some sort of kind of serum, but also like the suit helps that on top of it, I think. I'm sure they're going to explain it in this, or like you take a bath in it and you come out and you're like super strong, like, or whatever.
No, it's probably just you got to get super drunk so your body's all flexible. So any impact you take, your body's so loose it doesn't hurt you, right?
Yep, that's exactly what. You know what? Actually, it's oxidized alcohol. So when he puts on the helmet, it's like, and he's like,
yeah,
it's like perfect. Let's go. And he's just like, they show him dropping out, and he's like.
He hits the ground and he's just so relaxed, man, that he just puddles on the ground and just gets up like I didn't feel a thing,
No, that is not it. No,
the Joe Weaver Black Panther parody.
Oh my gosh,
that was totally an American Dad reference, by the way.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to strike that from the record because we don't talk about that here. So when he dropped out of the plane, it felt very Iron Man, like it was very. I wasn't expecting it when he kind of sees. She's like, "Don't freeze." He's like, "I never freeze," and whatever. And I was like, I thought there was gonna be some sort of ice joke.
Yeah, what are they talking about the whole freeze thing?
Well, just don't like freeze up, maybe, or maybe it's cold out when they drop them out of the plane, or just like don't just freeze when you're out there. But I'm excited for that sequence because that kind of whole Predator vibe, I think is
Oh
really
yeah, it
cool.
is. They shine up and he's in the tree. It's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, well, like I feel like that sequence is what directly follows what we saw in this one, where he gets dropped out of it because they kind
Yeah,
of are all stopped and they're like, where is he? And he's just kind of like,
yeah,
hey, like, hi, I'm here.
I think so. So obviously they show off that he has some sort of rival in this, right?
Yes, and I forget that guy's name. I don't know if it's like Warmonger or something, but he's got like a few villains, but I think that's like the main one, who also seems to, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the trailer, it's linked down below, but he also seems to get a Black Panther suit or something
No, no,
very
no,
similar to
no.
that.
They call him the Golden Panther.
Or the leopard. I don't know. He had like all the spots
Yeah,
on him
maybe
too.
he's the leopard because he's got like a goldish, gold yellow helmet.
Well, one criticism that I've heard is that it might be a lot like a Marvel Phase 1 film where it's like you got your main hero, like Iron Man, and then he fights like another Iron Man at the end. So it's going to be like Black Panther versus like another Black Panther, kind of thing. That doesn't really bother me so much. I wish it would be a bit different, but
And it's the guy that played Apollo Creed or whatever in that boxing
yes.
movie.
He
Right?
also played the Human Torch in the latest Fantastic Four.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Jimmy. So
I know.
anywho.
Fox is like, that's right, Joe. What are you talking? We never even made a movie. Yeah,
We will reboot it. We will reboot it.
I'm almost more excited about Andy Serkis as a villain in this one, coming back, after losing his arm in Ultron, and I forget his name, but
I don't think he's coming back. I think this is pre the Ultron events.
No, man, he's got the robot arm. He's got the.
Oh, is it really a robot arm? Are you kidding me right now?
No, dude, it's the Marvel shit has a robot arm, the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, I guess he's rich and all that, being like an international arms dealer and all that stuff.
Get it? Whatever. He's an arms dealer.
He just took a little out of the inventory, skimmed off the top.
Put it on, just puts it on. He's like, cuttlefish. Yeah, I hope he makes a joke about cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish. Yeah. He is kind of cool. I didn't notice in the trailer, though, whether he was missing the arm or not. I felt like there was one there, but you must not.
Yeah, he leans out.
Pay attention to find the robot part of it, right?
Yeah, he leans out and he kind of like it bends down, I think, at the wrist or something. It was like a cannon, and he kind of leans out and shoots that other car.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't quite catch.
It's quick. It's super duper quick. Yeah, I'm excited about that, and plus, it's cool to see Andy Serkis not play Caesar or Gollum or something like that. It's kind of cool to see actual Andy Serkis, in real life, because I feel like that's a rarity. But I think he's a really good actor, and I kind of like this role he's playing. But it seems like he teams up with the main rival for Black Panther. Kind of those guys are working together to maybe kind of take down Wakanda from the inside, as it were. But I gotta say this again. I like the music. The only thing I didn't like about it is that the lyrics for the rap were loud enough that I thought sometimes it was somebody saying something, like an actual character, and I was like, "Well," someone would be like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, I don't think that's what.
Say that again, Jim. What was that?
Oh yeah. It's like, what am I watching? The Justice League trailer? Is this like Aquaman's? It's like, oh, my man, just jumping in. But I like the music. I thought, again, like a cool like vibe and beat. Once again, kind of like the first one. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this movie. Even if it's kind of like two Black Panthers fighting each other, it's cool to see. Wakanda, it's cool to see like his Iron Man room. He's got like two of the Black Panther suits just kind of sitting there. You get to see his family a little bit and a little bit of kind of the inner workings of that. But yeah, man, I'm stoked. Is there anything from the trailer that stood out to you as like your favorite moment?
Well, I want to know. Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
I want to know, what is the purple shimmery thing that you see every time he does like a flip or something strenuous? You see like a purple shimmer in his suit.
I am guessing, and I might be wrong, that it is a way that the vibranium, they've stored up the kinetic energy that he has by jumping out of a plane or something, or doing a bunch of stuff, and then at any time he can use that along with his own like natural abilities to like leap a lot further, because it's like, it kind of pulls on that, so he's like kind of like boom, kind of like jump, like kind of like a spring or something. I don't know if that's exactly right, but that makes sense to me, kind of with this fake metal. So I don't know.
I think you're making stuff up now.
Yep, thank you. Yeah. I don't know if I like at the end they kind of show his mask without the eyes, like without the white eyes. They kind of show his eyes in there. I don't know if that plays super well. It's kind of like if you turned off the light with Iron Man's eyes. I don't know if that would look very good. It'd be kind of strange. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Yeah, it would be really weird. I don't remember seeing that, but good eye.
Yeah, it's very at the end there with the purple and stuff. He's kind of like walking forward. His eyes are just there, and you're kind of like, yeah. But yeah,
No thanks.
I'm not sure what the purple does. I'm not sure what the gold does. I'm not sure what a lot of these things do. Vibranium is a tricky element, and there's a lot of cool imagery though in this one. You know, talking about the African culture getting kind of mixed in with everything. But there's like that one shot of a bunch of people kind of sitting in the beginning, and there's like a bunch of stuff hanging from the walls, and I'm like, what is that? There's like a lot of intrigue there, but I think this is going to be a really good. It'll be a Phase 1 Marvel-ish, but I'm really excited because I like this character. I am nervous that whole car chase sequence is maybe one of the biggest things in the whole film. I hope that's not the finale. I don't think it will be, but I hope it's not.
It's going to be the showdown fight between the two rivals.
Yeah, which I don't. They'll have to do something to make that really flashy. The reason I'm worried, dear viewers, for that, the car chase sequence is because we got that in Civil War. And I've already seen how effective he could be at like chasing somebody down, but you take Captain America and Winter Soldier out of that equation, and it's kind of not as interesting to me anymore. Because like I love that whole bit. That sequence is
it's good. It's good. I love Winter Soldier on the motorcycle, but I will say I'm excited to see Black Panther shove his claws into the wheel of a vehicle.
Yeah, right? Dude, that's what I love about. Cool. When they introduce a new thing like that, it's kind of like with adamantium with Wolverine, when they introduce a new metal or alloy and you get to see them use it in just a practical sense where you're just like, yeah, if I took this really strong thing and it was just like, no, like, and like every other conventional metal would just be like, yeah, it just falls apart. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Just like run it down. Be like, oh, cool. I'm excited to see if he's got any more little tricks. And I'm sure we'll see like a final trick in his fight with, the Leopard Man, who's I thought it was Warmonger. No, there's Ironmonger. I don't know the name. Well, after this movie, I'll be like, oh, it's that guy. But yeah, I'm still excited. Manape's in there somewhere. We're gonna see him fight a guy, probably with a big, like dead white ape on him. Yeah, it should be good. I like the Dora Milaje, the bald ladies. Or the bald lady, I think she's one of them. There's like a few of them, and she's kind of spinning a staff around and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. So there's going to be some more infighting there than just Black Panther fighting everything by himself. But yeah, man, for me, Joe, I don't know. I'm pretty much still at the same. I don't remember what I put for hypometer last time, but I'd probably say I'm like 85, 90 degrees on the hypometer. I'm pretty stoked. I think it's going to be good. How about you? Is it change, stay?
No, I think it's going to be good too. I think I'm sitting around. I'm probably sitting around an 8.5, maybe.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I just want to see Black Panther and more stuff. He's just so cool. I'll talk about this later with Iron Man, but there's something about his design that is just so visually arresting that I could just watch him kind of fight and do stuff. And his fighting style is a bit different too. So everything he does, especially in Civil War, is so cool because it's so new to me. It's like, that's neat. So hopefully I won't get sick of it after this movie and be like, Black Panther's old news. But I think he's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully we'll see him with a cape one day. Except, if you like The Incredibles, you're not a big fan of capes. But anyway. Joe, I went and saw a movie, and I want to do a little review of it right here for everybody, as opposed to doing a review for it like I normally do, just because it's been out for a little bit. And I think this will be more fun to talk it back and forth. The movie I'm talking about is The Foreigner. So for everybody who normally watches our discussions and stuff here, we usually do spoiler-free, and then I flip a spoiler switch. However, if you've seen the trailers for this film, you can probably guess at about a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in it. So as opposed to doing spoiler-free for anyone who probably hasn't seen it yet or really wants to, which you probably should have, I'm going to flip the spoiler switch right now. I said right now. Right? Okay, just a few spoilers. There's just a few spoilers. Anyway, Joe, you saw a trailer for this. Tell me what you think this movie is about. Like with Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan, two super spies fighting to the death. I'm just kidding. That's not it. That'd be great if it would have been.
Yeah, Mr. Chan, he's still got moves, man.
Yeah, he's kicking it. Quite
literally.
You
Quite
watched,
literally.
yeah, dude. You watched the trailer for it just before we started up. Do you
I
like?
did.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
It's got a good vibe to it. The music is kind of like driving, like it drives the feelings home, I think, and it keeps you kind of engaged with the trailer. But um, the trailer ramps up, starts off pretty. I don't know. Starts off pretty mellow, and depressing.
Yep.
It eventually ramps up to just some ass kicking kind of a deal. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting premise. His family dies and all that, and so he's got to find the names of the bombers to get revenge. It's a whole revenge story. It's almost, it's probably like Taken 3 4.0, just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Prediction made.
I thought it was going to be a lot like Taken. However, it was not.
Damn it.
So, okay, it's a good movie. However, this movie doesn't really star Jackie Chan as much as you'd think it would. It's called The Foreigner, but it's not really about him as much. He is definitely a major player, but it's more so, it's kind of political. So Pierce
Corrupt
Brosnan,
government. Pierce Brosnan's actually a bad guy underneath it all.
yes, Pierce Brosnan is like, he's Irish, and what he was part of the IRA, which seemed like it was like an Irish terrorist group, or at one point it was, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. They were or radicals or whatever. And then basically the authentic IRA or somebody else, there's like a sect of that group that have gone around and started bombing, doing bombings around London. So basically the story is more so about Pierce Brosnan's character trying to figure out who within his group, within this big group, is doing this, who's attacking the British, because the Irish and the British, they not get along, and he's trying to find out who that is. And he and Jackie Chan, his daughter, just happens to get caught in the crossfire. Jackie had a wife. I shouldn't call him Jackie, but that's what I'm going to call him. Jackie's character had a wife and 2 children back in Shanghai, but they were both killed. And as you find out throughout the story, his daughter that he has now was his wife died giving birth to this last daughter, and that was all he had. Which in the beginning, I was saying to my friend, this could have been a great movie if Jackie Chan just happened to be himself in London raising like a British daughter. And I would have loved to see, because he kind of wants to meet the boyfriend, and she's like, "Father, you'll meet him before the dance," and he's like, "What? Not before the dance?" And it's like, I'd love to watch just like the Jackie just trying to figure out life movie with his just single parent. But anyway, Jackie's character, they go to get a dress for her for the dance, and unfortunately, right at that time, while they're there, a bomb goes off, and she dies. So as you go throughout the movie, you find out that Jackie kind of, his character again, he's just trying to get answers. He just wants to know who the bombers are. So he kind of works his way up eventually to Pierce Brosnan's character, who's one of the major players kind of politically. And he says I want names. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know the names. I don't know what this is about kind of, and I'm trying to figure it out. And Jackie's like, I don't believe you. And so what he does is he goes downstairs in the same building. He wires up this little bomb between it's like batches and pop. It's kind of one of those MacGyver situations. Jackie, you'll find out later on why he's so good at this. But he sets off a bomb in the same building, and just to scare the guy. And they get a call later, and Pierce Brosnan picks up the phone, and he's like, just deadpan. He's just like, have you changed your mind? And Pierce Brosnan's like, screw you, man. I'm not gonna do this. And then he just kind of is he's like, this is not gonna go away. And then he just kind of hangs up. And so Jackie basically just torments Pierce Brosnan's character for the entire movie until he gets names. But he doesn't kill people. He doesn't kill anybody. He has a lot of chances to kill his guards and stuff, because eventually Pierce goes out to this farm where he's got a bunch of goons, and Jackie's out in the forest, kind of he'd sneak in and blow something up and he'd leave. And he kind of would scare people. There's this one time that he, you probably saw it in the trailer, but he wires up a car to be to blow up. And this guy goes to the gas cap. And he's like, he like opens like a little piece of paper and it just says names. That's all it says. And I was thinking that's really great, but what if they didn't notice that? And it wasn't wired to anything else. So like the guy would have been driving when they got home like, oh, what's it? Names. I don't know. So basically, Jackie gets this guy to be completely terrified of just like his life because like Jackie's a 60-year-old guy that everyone's like, why can't we take this guy down? They've like tried to find him and beat him up and be like, get out of here, man. We don't want you. You find out eventually that Jackie was trained like, and he's like U.S. Special Forces. Like that's who he was trained by. And he's like one of the most deadly men in all of China. And he kind of left that life behind when he immigrated to London, and now he's a United Kingdom citizen. And so he basically just wants to know who these bombers are who killed his daughter. So eventually you find out that there's kind of like these inner workings in and amongst the IRA that like Pierce Brosnan's wife kind of was going behind his back, and like a lot of people were like, you're weak. And so he's trying to clean house with all that. And Jackie's just in the middle of it. And finally, he gets the names of these people, these terrorists. So it's like,
how does he get the names?
So he gets the names because oh gosh, it's so weird. So like he gets the names from Pierce Brosnan because they used a code word, and that's how he was trying to figure out who in and amongst his group was taking credit for this new like little side group of this big group. And eventually they find out who specifically, and believe it or not, Joe, the guy that, or the woman that is the mistress of Pierce Brosnan actually happens to be one of those special terrorists as well. And she was using him. There's like a lot of like, everybody's using everybody in
this. Of course, the mistress is always guilty of something.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. And there's a really good moment where he kisses her in a restaurant and Jackie's just like there, takes a picture, sends it to him. And and then he kind of like she walks away and he looks at his phone and it's like he just kind of like looks up and it's just kind of like, I want the names. Like he's just always like, just give me the names. And Pierce Brosnan's character doesn't know for a long time until he finally weeds it out in and amongst his crew. He threatens one of the guys that he finds out is the one behind it, gets those names. Pierce Brosnan kills that guy, and then he finally gives the information to Jackie after he sends his nephew out to kill him, but his nephew comes up short because he's not as good as Jackie Chan in the forest. But anyway, this all culminates in...
So Pierce Brosnan survives. Did he come around in the end? Like, yeah, this Jackie guy's a good guy. I'm going to give him the names. It's the right thing to do.
We're getting there.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right.
British, like the Brits, the police or whatever, they found the terrorists. They found like the flat that they're in, the apartment, and they're like getting ready to breach on all different stuff. They're ready to go. And then there's a knock on the door, and everybody's like, wait. They're like, all of them are talking like, wait. And then so these four guys and this one woman in this apartment, and the landlord shows up and says, there's a gentleman here, says there's a gas leak, and he needs to come in. It's a big deal. He needs to come in right away. And they're like, okay. So they let him in. So it's Jackie. He's dressed up as just like a gas man. Walks in. And they like make him open up his toolbox or his tool bag, and they kind of dump it out. And they're like, there's nothing here really. They kind of flip a towel, and there's a gun with like an improvised silencer on there. And as they do that, Jackie's just like, he punches like a dude, he kicks another dude, and he grabs the gun. They're all just shooting at each other like crazy. And that's kind of like what you see in the trailers, like a lot of that scene where like he's hiding by the fridge, and like they're like they think he's down here, but he's like crawled up and he jumps on him. So Jackie finds that the terrorist who killed his daughter, who pulled the trigger, is this guy who's got a burn on his hand. He sees that guy. He sees the burn on his hand, and he's kind of like, these are the guys. So Jackie does kill all the guys. He doesn't kill the woman because he just doesn't. He like wings her or whatever. But he beats a guy down at a television screen. He's killing these guys. Like he strangles a dude with a scarf to death. He's going for the kill on these dudes, and he did some pretty cool booby traps earlier, but it wasn't like for kills. This is for sure. But anyway, he does all this. It's like all the while the British police and like everybody, like the SWAT teams are like, just wait. I guess just like wait until whatever happens is done. They finally breach. They breach him for the ceiling. They breach him for everyone. He like somehow he just goes out the front door. Like Jackie's just kind of like he leaves. He's just gone. He escapes because he can vanish. So eventually he goes and he finds Pierce Brosnan, because they find out that Pierce Brosnan, he's been kind of he's been in between. He's been in between his old kind of radical ways and between like the British government. And the British government says like, hey, you know, we found out all the double dealing you kind of have been doing with all this stuff, and that you're kind of responsible, but we're going to keep you around, and you basically will do everything we say. Like, you're going to keep the peace for us between the British and the Irish. But what Jackie does is he shows up and he shows him a picture of him kissing that terrorist, and now she is known, the mistress is known throughout the world as being a terrorist, which the SWAT team, by the way, did execute, because they said like no loose ends, and she was like the only one who lived, so they shot her. But Jackie like shows him the phone of them kissing. He says, press the send button. And so Pierce Brosnan does that, and he's like, that's on the internet now. Like, it's all around the world. Everybody's going to know that you were with a terrorist, and that's, you're going to have to deal with that. So Jackie eventually, he just leaves. He goes back to, he has a little restaurant that he runs, and he goes back to the person who works there. And the British officials or whatever, the cops and everything, they're like, hey, like we found that the guy who's kind of been this ghost and kind of messing stuff up. And they're like, just leave him. Like, he's just kind of, we probably owe him one for all the stuff he's done. So let's just like let him have his life, and we're not going to bother him anymore. But
wow.
Yeah, they kind of tie up all the loose ends, but it seems a lot like Taken at first, but it's a lot more of a political thriller. The fight scenes you see in the trailers, while good, are pretty much everything you see as far as the fights for the most part go. There's maybe 3 or 4 action scenes in the whole film. A lot of it's like political, like, you need to do this and I need to talk to this person and you better do this for me. A lot of that.
So is it boring?
It's slow. I wouldn't say it's boring. It's stressful. It's intense. There's a lot of moments where I'm like, ugh. Also, there is a moment, a very brief moment, where it seems as if Jackie's character has killed an Irish setter. He is not. Dog is just sleeping. They show it later on, running around. It's totally fine. But I was like, oh, you can't make your protagonist kill a dog. Like, you can't do it. But there's a lot of it's way more Pierce Brosnan in this film, because there are times when they cut back to the forest of like goons or like Pierce Brosnan's nephew, who was a tracker, going out to get Jackie, and I was like, oh yeah, Jackie Chan's in this movie. I was like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, there's like this crazy, and they just call him the Chinaman. That's like, I think that's what's based off of, is a story called The Chinaman. But yeah, Jackie Chan does a really good job. His stunts, are still really solid. He's a really good actor. Like, in the beginning, they show he's just like completely distraught, and he's so sad, and you really feel it, and it's so depressing. And then he just kind of flips the switch, burns some pictures of like his family members, and it's just kind of like, I'm leaving to go and find these people. It's like, all right, okay. But he does a good job. Pierce Brosnan does a lot of screaming in a very thick Irish accent, which I don't know if that's his normal accent. I was trying to figure that out, and I was like,
no, it's totally British, man.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't. It's very strange. But yeah, it was weird. There's a lot more of like the IRA and like a lot of their inner workings that were more of like what relationships people had and how those affect other relationships that were kind of more the focal point. It wasn't mostly like him going to like in Taken, where he goes from like place to place, just like murdering everybody. It's just like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill all of you. It was more like Jackie was like, he would just beat people up and just say, I want, like, he got this one dude. There was a bunch of guys out in the forest trying to get him, and he's got a knife, and he kind of takes out a few dudes, and he grabs a dude like by the neck, puts the knife to him, and he's like, I want names. And some guy just kind of hits him in the back, and it's like, he's not trying to like kill these guys. He just wants the names. He's like that guy who's just trying to get the special coupon deal at a grocery store. He's just like, all I want, please just leave me alone. But
is it bad that I find gratification in the other style of movie where he just leaves a bunch of dead bodies?
No, I think I understand that, and I think it makes a little more sense, especially if, like in Taken, it worked really well because you knew his daughter was alive, and for the most part, and that she was basically being like sold off into slavery. And him killing everybody was him just like kind of cleaning all of that up. Whereas like Jackie's character definitely could have killed all of these guys, but he was like, I just want to kill the ones responsible. These guys are just kind of in my way. And instead of like killing them and really drawing the ire of Pierce Brosnan's character and him being like, hey, if I know the names, I don't even care. I'm just going to kill you. It was just like, I haven't killed anybody. I just want the names, and then this can stop. Like, I'm not going to kill you. I just want to know the names. So it's very much like that. So it's interesting and different. And I get where you were thinking that, but for the trailers, it seems like they make you think that he kills everybody, but that gun-toting Jackie only shows up in the last couple of minutes, like, which is weird because like usually you don't see Jackie Chan with a gun like too often like that, but it was still pretty cool. I gotta say, it felt good. All the hits felt good. It's unfortunate though that I don't know if it was the other actors or how they set it up, but they did do kind of the shaky cam sometimes, which was unnecessary because Jackie Chan is a legend, and you don't really need to do that. It's more so probably for the other actors or the other stunt people, because like that guy doesn't need to. You don't need to cut from shot to shot with Jackie. He can do pretty much everything. But yeah, so that's The Foreigner, Joe. I don't know. Do you have any questions or any thoughts on it? Anything you want to know?
No, I don't really have any questions. I remember, so here's the thing. I remember me and our buddy Drew, we were going to see a motocross race one weekend, and so we had to get down near the location the night before. We were bored. So we went and saw a movie. Wanted to see Spider-Man. Of course, it was sold out. So we went and saw, oh, geez, this is how much I care. I don't even remember the name.
Tell me what it's about. What was
the
it
war
about?
movie. Where
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was just, every gunshot was over my ear, and I came out with blood pouring out of my ears, and it was depressing. It was a little boring. All of the above. Anywho, the previews for the movie, on the other hand, were pretty darn great. And God, I wish I could remember all the previews. You know, you see those previews that you're like, oh, that looks really good. But then you walk out, and a week later you forgot you ever saw it. And then you're like, oh, as soon as the new preview comes out, you're like, yeah, I remember seeing that way back when. Well, this is one of those movies. And Drew and I both looked at each other after that preview was done for The Foreigner, and we're like, that looks pretty sweet. Jackie Stan's still kicking ass, you know? I mean, yeah, so it sounds like an interesting movie. It sounds better than Taken. It sounds more of like you have to sit and ponder and think and kind of analyze a bit more. Is, you know, the alternative is like something like Taken, where it's just, or John Wick, where it's just, you know, kill, kill, kill. I'm going over here. I'm gonna kill, kill, kill. Okay, I gotta escape here, but then I'm coming back to kill, kill, kill. This is much more of like a, what's the word? A bit of a thriller, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of action sprinkled in, like on the top of your ice cream with the sprinkles, but yeah, I don't know. Sounds good. I mean, you kind of eliminated the need for any questions because your synopsis was like,
what can I say? Yeah, I would say that like the fight scenes were more meaningful because there weren't so many of them, and the fact that he wasn't killing people was kind of cool. There's one
like
shot.
Batman.
Yeah, there's one shot you see in the trailer where he kind of brings like leaves over like a person. But what you don't see is like there's a tripwire, and the guy trips, smashes his head on a log, and he gets kind of knocked out. And Jackie's just like he's under the leaves. He's like, he's just kind of under there with the guy, and he's like he's just like a little trap spider or something like that.
Explain that scene. What's he doing there and why?
There's like 3 or 4 guys coming out into the woods to get him because he blew something up, you know, and they're like, oh, we gotta go get him. And that happens like once or twice. But they get that guy. There's another guy who goes and he like puts his foot into like a spike trap. So he just like, you see his foot just like, and he's like, ah, you know, kind of thing. And Jackie runs up and he just comes out of nowhere and just boom, just like gets that guy right in the face. He takes a few guys down with like little wire traps and stuff. But yeah, and it's funny because they send in this tracker, Pierce Brosnan's nephew, who in a weird subplot is also seeing Pierce Brosnan's wife, his like aunt that's, you know, married into the family, like they have like an affair or whatever. But this tracker, he's just like in camo with a big black backpack on, and he's got like a gun. So he like goes to the bear trap or whatever, like the little spike trap. He kind of like, he's got some blood in his hand. He's kind of looks around, and he's just kind of like walking around. He's not like really tracking. And then he finds Jackie's little hideout, which is like this little hut. And he kind of goes and looks in there, doesn't see anything. He trips a thing. So it's like 2 or 3 of the logs that are making this, or 3 of the branches making this little enclosure, like snap him in the face, and then Jackie comes out of nowhere. It's just like, wham! And they get in this fight. and they go kind of back and forth with their knives or whatever. And then you see at the very end, Jackie kind of trips the guy, and the guy kind of falls down, and Jackie has a branch that's like right here, and it's like making him bleed just a little bit. And he's just kind of like, he ties him up, and he's like, you know the reason I didn't kill you, right? And he's like, I want the names. And the guy's like, yeah, I've actually got the names on my phone. His uncle sent him in with it. He's like, just in case it doesn't go your way. And he lets the guy go. He's like,
seriously?
He's like, I don't want to kill you. He's like, I've got no quarrel with you. It's just like you were gonna, come after me. And he's like, I just want the names. So then that's when kind of the last.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's really cool because it's like this, like a guy that's formidable and much younger than Jackie, but he's still just kind of goes toe to toe with him. And Jackie takes some pretty serious hits in this film. A lot of like getting hit with a branch. A lot of that. It's like a branch. And it's like, but,
like I'm picturing like a little switch, like one of those little.
No. These are like legit. Like, but yeah, it's a pretty entertaining movie. There's a few like moments, but it's a lot of just kind of. It's a lot of thinking and trying to memorize a lot of the names of the people because they'll say a name and I'm like, is that the mistress or his wife? And then they'll like cut to her and I'm like, still not sure.
And why do they look exactly alike? Are they sisters?
Yeah, they actually. Well, anyway.
See, I haven't even seen the movie. I'm already guessing.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. Oh, also, there's a terrifying moment that they. Oh gosh. Okay, so. Lady terrorist sleeps with this other guy just because she has to plant a bomb battery on his laptop because this laptop is going to go on this plane with a bunch of officials from Britain to Rome. It's going to blow it up, so it'll be a big terrorist thing. Anyway, so she has to do that.
A big terrorist thing.
Later on, she talks about, she's like, I had to be with that guy. It was disgusting or whatever. I'm like, okay, all right. Probably other ways to do that. You probably didn't need to sleep with him to get this back. Whatever. Anyway, that's your life. I'm not gonna make judgments.
For some reason, I was thinking about it. Like, can you imagine you're a female terrorist and you just gotta, just for the good of the terrorist organization, you've got to sleep with everybody and anybody.
Why couldn't you just break in and do the same thing? He was like a news reporter, so it's not like he had like a ton of like security or it was just like, why didn't you just? You don't have to do. This computer's by a window, for God's sakes. Anyway, sorry.
So she was some pretty skimpy model,
yep,
and the news guy was some big fat pig. Right?
Yep, and she was like, yeah, it's like it was disgusting. Anyway, so they get to this moment where he is sitting in the airport with said computer. Computer is gonna blow up at 3:00. It's like a minute and a half till 3. He's sitting there, headphones on, kind of listening. A bunch of security guys go like, "Hey, I'm looking for this, blah blah blah, looking for this guy," and he's just kind of like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Wait a second." He's like, "Oh, I'm that guy," and they're just like, "Is this your computer?" So this guy, this hero of a security guy, grabs the computer and it's like, "Everybody get out of the way!" And so he's just like running. He's running through this airport. People are just screaming and running. There's this guy sitting on a chair, like one of those chairs that's turned like opposite, so like he had to run like at this guy, and he's like, "You move!" Guy, so the guy's like, he's sitting in a chair like it's his fault. Guy trips over the chairs, which I thought was pretty good. But he runs down one of those ramps out to the plane, and he just chucks the computer, and it blows up like immediately upon hitting like this stuff. It just blows that whole area up, and all I'm thinking is, man, I just don't know if I want to travel for a bit. I was just like, ooh, like it was just like, oh man, there's a lot of just a lot of terrorist bombings throughout this whole movie, and it was really unfortunate because that's been something we've had to deal with in the real world. But that whole sequence was like really intense. I was like, is this gonna blow up and kill like hundreds of people like right here? I was like, oh my god.
Jimmy, another parody movie. He gets the wrong guy, the wrong computer, so he's just running with a computer. It's a long airport explosion and a rumble behind him. He's like,
oh god,
oh.
Not a parody film. Joe does not speak critical reviews. Yeah, no, it was a weird. I guess I don't really know what the terrorists they were trying to get civil unrest again, and because the Irish and the British were not playing well with each other or something, and it was kind of strange. But this movie, if you're gonna go see it, which I would recommend you would, like I said, I give it like a 7 out of 10. It would probably be worth this to see it in theaters. Jackie Chan's great, and Pierce Brosnan does a pretty good job, but it's much more of a political thriller than like I'm gonna beat up every person in London type of thriller, like a Taken, or Taken's where like I'll kill everybody. So But yeah, pretty solid. If you're kind of like on the fence about it, I'd maybe wait till you could see it, like you could rent it. It might make for a nice. It's kind of long. It was about 2 hours roughly, or hour 40, something like that. So it felt longer because I thought it was going to be like an action movie, but it was not so much. So yeah, still pretty good though. That's my official stance on it. So check it out if you want. If you like Jackie Chan like I do, I still just want to see him and Tom Cruise in the same film. Maybe they've been in one together, but I just want to see them do stunts together, like crazy. Like we have a lot of money in these guys' stunts, and like if either of them die, I would love that. I just respect it. I know Jackie's doing all of his own stuff. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I think the biggest crazy stunt he did in this one, he either fell like down like a really rough hill, or he kind of in the trailer, he falls out of a house and grabs onto like a flagpole and like slides down it. And that was pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah, there you go. All right, Joe, that does it for our talk about The Foreigner. But now it's time to do that thing that I love to do. We got to salute our commander, Jonathan Larson, our $100 patron on patreon.com. Thank you so much, Jonathan. We love and salute you.
Salutes, Jonathan.
And as Jonathan likes to say, their fate concerns me. Yours does not. Yes, and if you want to see how you can become a $100 patron or a Patreon, just go check us out over there. You can get a cool custom avatar, but the one and only Yoren Evers. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, Joe, it's time for that part of the show that we like to call
Timekillers.
That's right. It's time for Timekillers. The movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been viewing, the games we've been playing, the music we've been listening to. Joe, what have you been killing time with, pal?
I've been getting back into The Flash. CW's The Flash.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. How are you feeling about Flash?
As I get further into, I've seen seasons 1 and 2. I didn't quite finish up season 2, but I get the gist of it. He defeats Zoom and all that, whatever. Okay. So watching season 3, at first the way it started out, I was kind of like, is this the only way they could keep the show interesting, is the whole time travel gig?
Yeah.
And then when they did that big mosh pit team up with Supergirl and Arrow and DC's Legends of Tomorrow, it got a little, I'm fine with it. And it was cool to have Supergirl there, maybe Supergirl and Arrow. But the DC Legends of Tomorrow, I don't like them. I think they're freaking stupid.
Oh.
I hope their ship explodes in flight.
No.
I had no interest in them whatsoever, and I thought they were dumb. I'm sorry. And I'm not doing it just to be different or saying it because I just want to make a statement, No, it's
a hot take. It's a hot take.
It's a hot take. You know what really grinds my gears?
What?
But Supergirl has this weird quirkiness about her that they've established with her show, and it's she kind of meshed well. Oliver, they make him out to be the badass of all badasses beyond badass, and it's kind of it might be just a little over the top, but he is cool. You gotta admit. But is he still married to the Felicity? Are they not married anymore?
I don't know if
I haven't kept up on Arrow at all.
No, they're not together, but they were trying to get back together. I think they were engaged. Did they get married on the show?
I thought they were married at one point, or they were at least engaged. Then she got crippled or something.
Yeah, well, then it was all I can't, I'm going to be there to support you, but I can't, you'll never love me or what. I don't know. It's, God, it's just so back and forth.
Stupid. Anywho. Yeah, but The Flash as season 3 goes on, and especially once you get beyond that whole big team up episode, it starts getting better. It starts getting better, and I don't understand this whole flipping the spoiler switch. So, anywho, this whole Savitar guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that whole gig is, but it's kind of a cool concept. Like an ancient godlike being kind of a deal. But then the whole time thing, the whole time jumping thing starts to get a little
Yeah, exactly. Because at any time they could just reset an entire season. Like at the end of a season, they just went back in time and screwed it all up. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, just when you think it's all over and we're all good, Barry accidentally got knocked back into a time warp and he was went back to 1985. He was never born.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I want you to report back on this. I want you to tell me what you think of Savitar when you kind of learn more about that character.
Really? Yeah. I will say, just based on, us saying that back and forth and bringing him up and you saying, God, I'm walking in circles. I cannot speak what my mind is thinking this week. I don't know what it is.
That's good. Good.
But, they do a good job in setting his character up for interest. Like immediately you're like, oh, and they give you quite a bit on him and you see him a lot, but you don't quite have an understanding of who he is, what's his gig, that sort of a deal. And is he purely a monster like that, or is he in a suit?
Is he? Who knows?
Spoilers, he's not in a suit because he roared like an animal at one point, and if it was a big old heavy suit, would he really be running that fast?
It's Barry's mom.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding. That'd be really rough. It's Oliver. He's just testing him.
Barry's mom.
From an alternate timeline, and she hates Barry.
Yeah. I hate you, Barry. You didn't save my alter ego.
Yeah, God.
Barry's mom has got it going on.
Yikes.
She's all I want. I've waited so long.
So,
Barry,
what else did he kill in time with Joe?
Girl for me, or she's the girl for me. I don't know what I've been wrong. I'm in love with Barry's mom. I don't know what Barry. I'm sorry.
Joe, leave everybody. Perfect. This is great. We're just making jokes about some superhero's dead mother.
See the kitchen in my new house, by the way?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's fancy. Yeah. Oh, you're still gonna build that thing, don't you?
Actually, speaking of time killers, this is what I've been sinking all my time into, and probably why I can't talk straight. But I want to do a sweet big island like this, kind of open, with stools on one side. But in order to do that, I got to take down a wall. And, it's a lot of work. Anywho, time killers. That's what I got.
All right.
Destiny here and there, Overwatch when I get a moment, but haven't been playing too many games lately. So, how about yourself, Jimmy?
So last night I've started my pilgrimage. I didn't mean to, but it just happened this way. I started my multi-film journey to Infinity War with where it all began with Iron Man. Watched the original Iron Man last night. I gotta say that movie is still really solid. I give it like an 8. There's some things I don't really like about it, and the first act is kind of a little all over the place. But man, oh man, like we talk about Avengers and stuff, and I love Captain America and I love Hulk, but the coolest Avenger, and I really don't know if this is even up for debate, just on like coolish, stylish points and stuff, even from the very get-go, it's Iron Man. That guy, like, that suit is so cool, and the love that they put into just like the design of it and how like all the working parts and him just like tweaking it throughout the entire film to make it what it is, the Mark II anyway, or even just the Mark One. It's just so cool. Ironmonger, the villain in that, Jeff Bridges, is fine. It's not that cool, but his suit, man, just that Mark II is just a good looking suit. And that whole sequence where he's fighting the Jets, that's such a really fun time. It's still weird to see a different character play Rhodey, because now Don Cheadle's there instead, because I don't know if it's like a money thing, but it's still a really good film. A lot of funny moments, and it's cool to see Tony Stark in the very beginning kind of being this jerk who's talking about the Jericho missile and talking about, he's like, they say the best weapon is the one that you never have to fire. And he's like, I respectfully disagree. I believe it's the one you only have to fire once. He's like, that's the way Dad does it, or Dad did it. That's the way America does it. And it's worked out pretty good so far. And then he's just kind of showing off this new technology and just being like a huge, just like jerk about it. And it's just cool to see that whole story and where it's gone from there. But yeah, that first Iron Man, pretty solid. There's a lot of other movies I should probably get to. I kind of want to do, I might not watch every single one of them. We'll see. But I do want to watch the original Thor, next. I love the first Avengers, so I'm pretty well versed with that one. I don't have to like watch it to remember it. But yeah, that's where I might go next. But yeah, the first Iron Man. And Joe, every time I watch him, like, oh, Joe loves this because he's such a gearhead or whatever. You know, just watching Tony work like in the cave, like on, like he's like all grimy, and he's just like ding, ding. He's like, you know, hammering stuff out, and he's just like making the mask, and he kind of brings it, puts it on the table. He's just kind of like, there we go. It's just the terrorists seem so stupid. They see him like making all this stuff, and they're like, that doesn't really look like a Jericho missile. And it's like you watch him build a suit. You're like,
yeah, right.
It's like, come on, guys, like
The
somebody
shape
go in there.
Seems a little off.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, good solid film. I recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime right now for anybody who's got Amazon Prime, like instant video. It's one of those on there. So it's like, oh, cool. I'll watch that. That's what I've been killing time with amongst a bunch of other things. But anyway,
Eric Killmonger.
Killmonger, is that the name of the villain in Black Panther?
Yeah, Eric Killmonger.
Killmonger. Okay, cool. He's got like a bunch of like scales or something in him too. I don't know what's up with that.
No, they just show off kind of like I mean, it just kind of looks like a warlord kind of guy with like little baby skulls hanging around his neck and like a skull belt buckle and a big machete.
What's Andy Serkis? He's like Claw or something.
I don't know that. I'm just looking at the top 5 Black Panther villains. And
Dude, Manape's on there.
Manape is on there. Eric Killmonger. Let's go through a couple. Since we're on Timekillers, let's go a little time. White Wolf.
Okay.
I don't know much about White Wolf. They have like a black and white comic that they're showing off in this article.
We have 3. We have 3 thus far. Where are the other 2?
He's a sibling to T'Challa.
Okay. I'm sure he'll be in the sequel then. If he's not in this one, he'll probably make an appearance to some.
Yeah, so he was an adopted brother to T'Challa. But he was always jealous of T'Challa. As an adult, he earned his own honor when he became the head of Wakanda's secret police, the Hatut Zares, and he became White Wolf. Unfortunately for Hunter, after T'Challa took the throne, he disbanded the Hatut Zares due to their brutal practices.
Oh.
Hunter was obviously angry at his brother and decided to leave Wakanda and his men to become mercenaries. With his men to become mercenaries. Although Hunter and T'Challa never battled in the comics, their background could easily be shifted so that they become adversaries in Black Panther. Ooh, they're saying White Wolf may be showing off in this movie.
He's got to be, right? What are the other 2 villains? I looked up Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw, by the way. So that's how I play that character.
Lame name. Lame. Batroc the Leaper.
Oh yeah, he was in
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, well he was in he was I can't think of the name of it. Winter Soldier, yeah. He was the guy that he fought on the ship, and he kind of puts a shield down. He's the guy who's jumping around and stuff. And the Cap beats him with like a sick move. Yeah.
I don't really remember that, but apparently, big adversary for Black Panther.
And who's the last one?
Bear with me.
His inner demons, right? Tony Stark's biggest villain is alcoholism. Ah.
Oh yeah, Ulysses Claw.
Ooh, I did it. Yeah, he's gonna have an arm cannon, Joe. It all makes sense. Well, Joe, believe it or not, I was asking the Legionnaires about some things like that in my favorite segment, community feedback and questions. I was asking them who their favorite Marvel heroes were, just for fun, just like any Marvel hero. So Stephen Blomkamp originally jokingly says, well, obviously it's Batman. He's so badass. He's also the best Marvel character. And I kind of was like, oh, really? No love for Marvel? He said, actually, Punisher is my all-time favorite comic character, actually. I was like, oh, cool. Our buddy Ryan says Spider-Man is more relatable to me. He also has great villains to fight. I completely agree. His rogues gallery is really solid. Our buddy Machine and Soul says about Deadpool. He says, I love his fourth wall breaking mostly, and the fact that he's just off his rocker. And Fragadin really goes into it here. Pretty cool. Talking about Omega Red. He says, the idea that his story, how he came to be, was very intense, seeing what a sick person he was and what he has to be, and what he was intended to be, the super soldier for the Soviet government. Also, he kills to stay alive, making him even more dangerous because of his desperation to stay alive. Also, a huge rival to Wolverine. which I think is pretty cool. And then from the Geeky Goblinoid, or the Goblinoid, he says Spidey followed very closely by Wolverine. And Corey Lang, our buddy Corey Lang over on Game Sharks, he says that the Black Panther, it's just Black Panther. We're talking a lot about Black Panther, so makes sense. And Joe, we only have one question this week. We don't have to think. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. This is from the same guy who asked. He's got a question for us, but Guy Full of Dreams, he says he's torn between two, but he has to choose Juggernaut. Juggernaut's an interesting pick, I think. But the question from him is actually a critical podcast. Oh, do you have a question about Juggernaut, Joe?
No. I was just gonna say I'm a Winter Soldier guy myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think like of all Marvel characters. It's so hard to pick. Ghost Rider jumps to mind. Hulk, Cap, Iron Man. Damn, there's so many good ones. There's so many good characters.
We've done this before. I think we've ranked our top 3.
We did top in the
in
MCU.
some fashion.
We did the top 3 in the MCU. You cheated and used Ghost Rider, even though he's technically not in any of the cinematic universe stuff. And I let you have it. I shouldn't have, but hopefully he'll be in a film one day. Yeah,
as far as Marvel is concerned, I really did. Ghost Rider's badass. Like if I had to be one, Ghost Rider.
The problem is you wouldn't really control it. That's the only issue. Like Iron Man, I think might be one of the coolest to be because like even if you weren't rich, if you weren't Tony Stark, you'd still have the suit. And that suit, like think of the things, man. Just oh gosh.
Is it weird that I would rather be some sort of monster? Like something that when I go nuts, I scare the shit out of people.
I'd just bring you somewhere and drop you off somewhere. That's how I'd do it. It'd be very I'd just be like, you're Ghost Rider Joe, and I just drop you off. I'm in the Iron Man suit. I'm like, are you ready, buddy? And you're just like, I'm ready. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Let him go. Yeah. I dropped Joe off. It'll be fine. Like in 2 or 3 hours. He likes to take his time, but we'll clean everybody out. All those Hydra agents are going to be dead. Guyful Dream asks us, hashtag critical podcast, that's how you get a hold of us. Says DayZ and a few other games have been in beta mode for a few years. Does this affect its success and how gamers think about them? So Joe, another big game that you could kind of talk about is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds right now, kind of still in the beta mode. It's not you can buy it, but it's not fully released yet. That's a pretty good question. Does this affect its success? I don't know if it affects its success so much. I think people are early adopters, and if they like a game that's just fun to play, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's fully released yet or not. But I think for me, I know that if I'm playing an alpha or a beta for a bigger title, like Joe and I played Battlefront a while ago, not this new one, but when we play Joe an alpha or a beta, sometimes we're if we just play a little bit of something, we're something's not working, we're okay, we'll see. But Destiny 2 wasn't in beta for 3 years, and then they're all right, finally we're the game is out for full release. So I guess it depends on for me personally, the budget or what the game is supposed to be. If it's an on-running multiplayer game like DayZ or PUBG, then I get where it doesn't need to be fully released yet. But for other games, if they were in beta mode for many, many years, a big shooter or something that Activision was making, it, what are you guys doing? Just probably try to get money without trying to commit to it. But yeah, Joe, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it does have an impact on its success. I mean, yeah, maybe it develops a niche following, but I think with stumbles like that or delays, making it less mainstream are going to lead to it. It cripples it. I don't think it'll ever become one of those big mainstream Class A titles,
Well, weirdly enough, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is one of the most popular games on the planet right now, and it's just because people enjoy playing it. I think people enjoy streaming it too. I think a lot of these games are only doing better now because of the streamability of a game. Sure. You're cool, I like watching
nowadays, if you get that one really popular streamer that has thousands upon thousands of people viewing him every time he's on, if he touches your game or shows it at all, it's an automatic win,
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
That's all it is. I mean, now in our day and age, I mean, YouTube stars, there are YouTube stars that do daily vlogs that get 2 million plus views every time. I mean, advertising on a channel or a medium such as that, I don't think you can beat it.
Yep.
Except for they make these things called ad blockers, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's not tell everybody about that, huh?
Don't do it. Don't tell that they're watching it right now, Joe. See, for me, my daily vloggers are the Tim and Jen tracker, and they're just like Disney vloggers. So like I just like watching, even when they're at home, I still kind of like watch. Like I feel like I'm a part of their lives weirdly. But I just like watching that sort of thing. So it's like whatever you want to watch. And streaming is one of those things where you're just like you like a person and you just enjoy watching whatever they play. It doesn't matter. So thankfully, a lot of the people who come to my streams, they're not like necessarily looking for like a specific title. Like I'm not the Minecraft guy or anything like that. It's just like, oh, they just enjoy hanging out, which I appreciate. So great question.
The Tim Tracker couple adventures, I know you've shown them off to me in the past. Do they even have like a normal day job, or do they literally just do the vlogging as their job?
Excellent question, Joe. So originally, a long time ago, Jen, his wife, used to work as a manager at Target, I believe. Then she stopped, and she was kind of working. I think she stopped doing that, and she was kind of taking care of home and stuff. She was editing all the videos because he had a full job. But now they've gotten to a point because they've become popular enough. Their videos have gotten enough hits that is what they do now. They are full-time bloggers. They put out, stuff pretty much almost every day, which is really impressive. But that means that he'll be out a lot of times by himself, and she'll be editing yesterday's vlog. So it's very just like, so.
How many views do you think they get on every vlog?
Now, like their home vlogs, which would be like the least popular, might be in like 20,000, but like on their bigger ones, they're getting anywhere from 50 to 80. On 50, 80,000. By the way, that's per day.
So if you can make a living on that. How well does a guy do with like 2 million plus views?
Yeah, he's got a few videos. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it comes down to their sub count, which has gotten a lot higher in the past couple of years. They just kind of blown up a little bit more, and they get invited to a lot of things. So I think once they buy like all their passes, and then they have their passes for the entire year. So a lot of this stuff that their ad revenue is probably going right back into just their home. Like they already have pretty much all the equipment they need. So a lot of it's just like, maintaining like bills, that they have. Sure. So, and you know what, like they were talking about this, and as someone who wants to get more into that, I know some people that like the vlogs that I do, they were saying that like people kind of go after them and say like, hey, like you're not doing, real work or anything like that. But it's real work. Like they're doing hard work, and they're doing it like every day. And yeah, they're having a lot of fun, but there's a lot of work, like back end stuff that you're not seeing, a lot of not fun stuff that they have to deal with.
Yeah, they're not going to show you them slaving away over the computer at midnight trying to get the next vlog ready, or
exactly.
Whatever. So
they'll show it off a little once in a while. It'll just be like her just kind of like on her MacBook, just kind of, editing, but it's not like sometimes they have so much stuff they want to go over, and they make people really happy, and they're not asking. I don't even think they have a Patreon yet, which they totally should, because I would definitely back them, but it's just like, man, they're just in Disneyland, and I'm like, cool. Like I haven't been to Disneyland since, last March, and I'm like, sweet. Or they're in Disney World all the time, and I'm like, yes, that it sates my soul. And plus he's funny. I don't know. There's just something, it's easy going, and it's really cool. So I recommend checking them out. The Tim Tracker, really, really good. Or Justin Scarred, he's another guy. He's in out of California, and he goes to Disneyland a lot. He was just in Disney World. So he's really funny. He edits his vlogs a lot more heavily. He does like a lot of jump cuts and funny things, whereas they're kind of more just like, here's a scene, here's a scene, here's a scene, here's a scene. So it's kind of whatever you like. So I recommend both of them. I kind of vlog stuff. I like to do more of it myself. I have a little bit, but more to come. But anyway, if you have a question for us, or a topic, or a vlog you want to see us do, just tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast to either of us, and you can just tweet at me. I'm at GoCritical. It's capital G or capital C. Or you can tweet at my personal one, which is at JimmyGood013. If you want to tweet something specifically to Mr. Lever over there, you can tweet at
Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L.
Yes, with a seagull.
There ain't no seagull. That's a Twitter bird.
If you want to see me stream a game sometime, hop over to our Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/criticalreviews, because we were talking about that. Like, we still have Zelda over here. We're getting through it. It's been difficult for me because I'm not a huge fan of puzzles, and there's been a lot of puzzles. Oh boy. Anyway, but yeah, they say it's one of the greatest games of all time. Well, do I agree? Who knows? People are like, how dare you? I love that game. It was my childhood. I didn't have it as a kid, so it's like it's easier for me to be critical of it. It's a 20-year-old game, so yeah. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank This Is Dale for amazing intro, outro music. And I also want to thank the one and only Joran Evers, who does pretty much all of the art here on the channel. Once in a while, we get Stephen Purifoy to do something for us, but he does a lot of the art. So if you see any of the, like some of our shows, a lot of the avatars you see on Twitter that other people have, those are from Joran. So if you want to get a commission done by him, go check him out on Twitter. He's very, very talented guy and very reasonably priced. But if you want to get some of his art and support us at the exact same time monetarily, you can check out patreon.com/critical reviews, see all the various tiers we're trying to get to. Trying to get to $250 a month just so we can get a set streaming schedule. We've been going Mondays and Thursday afternoons right now, but I'd love to kind of really put that out every Sunday and be like, this is like the day, you know, kind of thing. That way you guys can stop by and not be like, is he streaming today? Be like, yep, he is for sure. So yeah, if you can't do that, if you can't throw in $1 or something like that, just share us with a friend. That really helps too. Or just share a review. You know, don't force it down people's throats. But we really are trying to grow and
force it down their throats.
Yep, like Joe said, you just force it. Just keep spamming them. Don't even like on Facebook. Just send a message. Just that, and just be like, don't even preface it.
Listen, if they're not open and willing to hear about it and try it out because you recommended it, then are they really your friend?
I knew you were going to say it, but I was like, that's really
just
funny.
Say it. I'm just saying. Just saying.
No peer pressure from us. Anyway. But thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for everybody who's here for the first time and those who are returning. We really appreciate it. We love hearing your feedback. Please tweet us anytime, honestly, if you guys ever have a topic or fun idea for the show. We're always looking to change it up and shift it up. And also, thank you. I forget the name, but one of my sister's friends made me this Itachi that you see right here. He's very, very cool. So he's been kind of lurking in the background. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Love and hugs to all of you. And just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye.